Good Tuesday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams. Very, very glad to get to be with you all tonight. It is always a privilege to get to spend some time on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, whatever night it happens to be. Of course, that's the schedule we've been doing lately is Tuesday and Wednesdays and Thursdays. And because I did not actually lock in that I was doing this StreamYard tonight, I want to see if anyone may stop by. We'll see if anyone gets to step up and visit. There's a lot going on. We are 21 days away now from the national election. We are also 21 days away from a state election, and we are going to have some good guests on this week. Now, no guest on tonight. It's just going to be me, and I would say I promise not to talk too long, but I should never make that promise because that's just not a good thing to say. The other thing is we do have guests tomorrow night. I have a couple of guests tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about State Question 814 tomorrow night. So you want to tune in for that. Of course, we'll come on live at 9 o'clock. And then another local business on Thursday. So I think you're going to enjoy both of those. Please make plans to tune in both of those nights, both Wednesday night and Thursday night. You know, one of the things that I've noticed lately, and I don't know if you are feeling this as well, and we'll talk about the shirt here in just a moment. I do want to give a shout out tonight, but I don't know if you have been feeling this as well. It feels like things are starting to find some kind of normalcy again. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into it. I definitely don't want to jinx it. But it does feel like that there seems to be some kind of normalcy again. I was watching college football on Saturday, and I mean throughout the day on Saturday, there were some interesting games. I mean, 4 overtimes with OU and Texas. And if you were watching the Red River rivalry, I still think it was the Red River shootout, but I know that they're not allowed to say that on whatever broadcast they're on. Anyway, you're watching the Red River rivalry. And if you thought that OU having a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter was safe, you have not watched Oklahoma play football this season. So that was definitely not something that was safe there. Anyway, that was fun. And, as the day goes on, Tennessee had a halftime lead. Tennessee completely blew that halftime lead. So Vols don't pick up the win. They're not undefeated anymore. And I'm watching online, looking at some people that I follow on social media in the sports realm, and one of them in particular, a sports information director from Mississippi, who was at Northwestern Oklahoma for a little while, and he said, "Man, does it feel normal yet? Should I be saying anything right now?" And I thought, I don't know, I'd be a little cautious. So that is the case, but it does feel a little bit more normal. And one of the things that makes me think this, that it's not just me. Now and again, you could get conspiratorial here if you want to. You don't have to, but you could get conspiratorial here if you wanted to. But I was watching the NFL after the opening. Well, we're not watching the opening of the NFL. You give them about 5 or 10 minutes to decide they want to play football. You can watch them play football. And we're watching the NFL and watching over the course of the day. And on CBS, they're talking about their fall lineup. And that original programming is coming back in November. You remember when some of you all are my age, you used to watch TV in the summertime and you start to find out more about the fall lineup, and August rolls around and the shows that you've been waiting for throughout the whole summer because you've been watching reruns all summer long. This is back, a few years back. And then in September, man, season premieres. And you started getting the idea, and the networks would talk about their the season premieres and the shows that are going to be on, and your favorite shows are coming back on X network. And then don't forget about all these new shows coming on, and so that was neat getting to see that. Well, that was always in September. Maybe get something in August, but mainly September. Now these things are coming back in 2020 because, of course, 2020 it's coming back in November. Here's the thing about that, though. This is not something that they just decided, hey, listen, we're going to come back in November. They've had to shoot all of these programs. They've had to go through their editing, the audio, the video, the graphics, the special effects, this, that, the other. These things have been shot a while back, And not all of them have just been sitting in a can waiting to be aired. They're airing in November because everyone knows, things are going to go back to I don't know about back to normal entirely, but there are going to be a lot of things that revert in November. It doesn't matter who wins. There are going to be a lot of things that go back in November. So, even the networks, CBS, ABC, NBC, we're seeing these things on there. They know. So just get ready. And still, should we honor then though the folks around us? If a store says, "Hey, listen, you still need to wear a mask," should you wear a mask? Yeah, you should. You should honor that local business. Okay. And I have made the mistake before. Honestly, I there are times I still get out of the car and if I've gone in and I haven't thought about a mask, I may make a mistake. It's with a pure heart because I'm not trying to be rebellious. Trust me, you'll know. And I don't mind saying, but we should honor our local businesses and honor the signs that they have there and honor the people who are trying to honor you, whether you believe in those things or not. And I don't believe, I'm sorry. I think I may sneeze. And that's something that you can hear without use of the video camera. Anyway, Michelle, good to see you tonight. Linda, good to see you tonight. Kathy, so I'm saying if the sign says it, then you need to honor that. If there are no signs that say that, then there's if that's not what you're comfortable with, that's fine. But we want to honor our local businesses to get this thing through. So that's fine. All right. Hey, speaking about getting things back to normal, I did want to. I have not had a chance to broadcast a game lately. And there's the drinking game, just in case you were wondering. But I wanted to, you know what? Let me see here if I can bring this up. I want to know if you know. Do you know the only team in the Big 12 that is undefeated, not just undefeated in conference play, undefeated overall? There's only one team left in the Big 12 that is undefeated. Wonder who that team could be. Oh, there it is. There it is. I don't know if you can see that on your computers there. Look right here. Only team left in the Big 12 that's undefeated. There we go. One of three teams in the Big 12 that are undefeated in conference play. There we go. Just throwing that out there. Three teams with a 3-game winning streak, but only one of them with no losses out there. Just anyway, we don't have to talk about it anymore. I'm just throwing that. You needed to see that. You needed to see which team in the Big 12 was undefeated. And I was just, there we go. Oh, wait. There we go. All right. Just throwing that out there. All right, I think those are all the props I have tonight. But you needed to see that anyway, so there we go. Only one team, and that team, by the way, and I do have my little Baylor helmet, but my little Baylor helmet is inside. And they're not going to play this week. It has been postponed. So there you go. All right. Yes, thank you. Okay, let me seeing the comments come up. I was hoping there would be a comment somewhere for the love of Pete. Come on, guys. You got to give me some comments somewhere in there. Okay, let's talk about let me talk about the comment first, then, cuz we'll get to the shirt. I did want to throw that out there tonight. And that leads me to the whole way the rest of the show is going to wrap up tonight. First off, nobody has responded to Ronnie's comments. Somebody in the comments has to respond to the boomer. I'm not going to at this point. So somebody has to respond. It does only matter at the end of the year, and we'll see. We will see. But in the meantime, pistols firing. So there is that. Okay, Denise, Love the shirt. I like the shirt too. And I am wearing the shirt tonight. By the way, this is one of our sponsors, and we have a number of great sponsors that I'm going to be mentioning here in just a moment. If this monitor comes back up here, is it going to come back up? There we go. A number of great sponsors tonight, which, by the way, include Workout Anytime, one of our great sponsors. And this is a fantastic shirt. Rana, who owns Workout Anytime in Durant, this is my shout out to her. And Rana, if you're watching tonight or if you're watching the replay, her firstborn son just turned 20. So they've had a birthday in the family and happy birthday. I believe it's Raj Paul whose birthday it is. So happy birthday to you. All right. So that's in honor of this tonight. And as always, we should always live our lives fearless. We show respect to the things around us, but we do not walk in fear. Among our advertisers and sponsors, Workout Anytime, also Studeville Chevrolet, as well as S&L Collision Center. I want to give a shout out really quickly to S&L Collision Center. We were in an accident just about the time, it was right before the move. And so that was a little bit frustrating. Jody and I were sitting and we were at an intersection. And it wasn't bad. We were not injured, but the car took some damage, some major damage. And so we took it to get it fixed, took it to S&L Collision Center. I had not been in an accident with damage like that before. I mean, I've been in a couple of accidents. The car's just totaled. Neat stories about how God takes care of us in that, but I hadn't had that. We got our work done at S&L Collision Center. I am so impressed. Absolutely so amazingly impressed with the work that they did there at S&L Collision Center. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Fantastic job on our car, and we would definitely go back. So great advertisers there, as well as Omnicare 365. Hi, Matt and Darla. Hope you guys are doing well. Hub Club Nutrition and Texoma Engravings, Green Spray, Durant Riding Club, Pro Rodeo, and I think Susan has another announcement for us sometime soon. I think, Susan, there's an announcement coming. So anyway, the Riding Club, Pro Rodeo, Cherokee Communications, Blackburn Plumbing and Air, as well as the Waffle Shop, Taco Mayo, Shamrock Bank, home of the Shamrock emojis, if Jason's watching tonight, KFC, Heartbeat Realty, Gordon Funeral Home, The Country Framer, Corner Drug, and Alliance Health Durant. Shout out to all of our advertisers and sponsors, and we have some very, very good ones, including Workout Anytime. Just want to give that shout out then to Rana and her family. Okay, I think for the most part, let me put one more thing up here so you can see this. Let's do a little homework. Okay, 21 days until the election, and most of you at this point in time know for whom you are going to be voting. Most of you at this point, and that's if you still don't know. If you still don't know that, that's okay. It's okay. And here's why. Because you need to be sure, and you need to pray. And I would still encourage you, even and unless you just you're so certain, you've prayed about it, you're so certain that you just don't vote straight party ticket. Go through and take the time to vote for each candidate or pair of candidates. If we're talking about president and vice president, or vote for each one. Take the time to vote and sow your seed into this country. This is your seed. This is what you're giving. Take the time for each one of them. If they're taking the time to run, take the time to vote for them, and make sure that your vote counts. So I just want to encourage you in that. But if you're not sure yet, then pray about it and figure out what you need to do. So this is one of the things that's going to be on the ballot coming up, and here it is. State question 814. Now, there are two state questions that are going to be on the ballot. One of them is 805. We'll talk about that later. 814, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Here is what this is what you're going to see when you go in and you vote for or against this measure. This is actually an amendment to the Oklahoma Constitution. And this is what it says. And we'll read this again tomorrow. This measure seeks to amend Article 10, Section 40 of the Oklahoma Constitution, Section 40, which directs proceeds from the state's settlements with or judgments against tobacco companies. Currently, Section 40 directs 75% of the proceeds to the Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust Fund, the TSET fund, where earnings may be only used for tobacco prevention programs, cancer research, and other such programs to maintain or improve the health of Oklahomans. Meanwhile, the remaining 25% of proceeds are directed to a separate fund for the legislature. The legislature can also direct some of that 25% to the Attorney General. This measure amends Section 40 to reduce the percentage of the proceeds that go to the TSET fund from 75% to 25%. As a result, the remaining 75% will go to the legislative fund, and the legislature may continue to direct a portion to the Attorney General. This measure would also restrict the use of the legislative fund. Section 40 currently states that only the legislative fund is subject to legislative appropriation. If this measure passes, money from the legislative fund must be used to get federal matching funds for Oklahoma's Medicaid program. So there we are. That's what it says. So in essence, what you're doing then, because we voted on June 30th and we passed a measure to say that we were going to be revamping Medicaid, and we're going to be getting more funds from the federal government to get matching funds, and they're going to be coming our way. However, in order to have matching funds, now work with me here. If somebody said, look, I'm going to match you dollar for dollar, everything you give to a certain fund or everything that you give to a certain event, we're going to match it dollar for dollar. How many of you know that if I give $2, the matching funds are $2. But if I give $25, the matching funds are $25. So we're not magically getting from the federal government all of this money. It's matching funds. So the state of Oklahoma has to put in a certain amount of money to get matching funds from the federal government to put that in. We passed a bill in Oklahoma that we haven't been able to finance necessarily yet. So now this is one of the ways that we're going to try to get the finances to be able to do that. And that is taking funds from the TSET and reallocating them then. And they do have to be used then for Oklahoma's Medicaid, as it says there. So there's no longer a legislative, hey, we can do what we want to with this money, except for this certain amount that goes to the Attorney General. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit more about that tomorrow. We'll have some folks on the show, and they are going to talk about that. So there's the text. There's your homework. So that's what you can look at tonight. And that way, I know sometimes when we go to the ballot box or the little stand, wherever you go to vote, I know sometimes that you can look at that and see all these words and go, what the, I'm not going to say anything bad, don't worry. But you're saying, what in the world does all this mean? And it's just a bunch of gobbledygook, which, by the way, is by design. Don't think it's not. There are a lot of things that people write in certain ways to confuse you so that you really don't know what you're voting for. And again, I know you're probably saying, Joey, nobody really does that. Oh, yes, they do. And it happens more often than what you might imagine. But this is fairly straightforward. Now, the only question is, should we do it? So don't be confused when you go in and look at State Question 814. This is what this is all about. Anyway, yeah, it is robbing Peter to pay Paul. There is a degree of that. I can see that. I can definitely see that because we're taking from one area of our government, but is it worth it to do that? Are the funds, is the money that's going over here, would it be better served to go over here? And I'm sure a lot of folks would immediately say yes, but I don't know. We'll see. And we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But yes, Denise, they do make it confusing. And there are times that they do make it confusing on purpose. And please, I know we could get into, some folks could get into a big argument about that. I don't want to do that. But it happens. There are things that are written certain ways by design. It happens. And so there's that. All right. I think that is all. So let me say 21 days out. If you haven't prayed yet, you ought to pray. Now be wise. Seriously, be wise. Walk in wisdom. And if you don't have wisdom, ask God. He will give you wisdom, and he will give it generously, and he will not find fault in you for asking. Number 2, walk in love. And I try to do that. Mrs. Patriot sometimes will warn me before I turn the camera on and say, go live with the software. Don't go in and just try to tick people off. I really, honestly, for the most part, don't do that. Every now and again, I'm sure I get a little ornery, but for the most part, and I want to walk in love. And you know what? There are lots of different things that go into walking in love. There really are. But at the very start or the top of the list, be patient and be kind, right? You've heard that in 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind. And it's more than just a passage of scripture you should read at a wedding ceremony. It's a passage of scripture we need to live by. So be patient, be kind. All right. And finally, do not walk in fear. Be fearless. Be fearless. Respect the things that deserve your respect. Don't walk out into moving traffic. Don't do it. That's silly. But don't be afraid of cars. Okay? Just be wise. Walk in love. And do not walk in fear. And we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you for watching. Ronnie, appreciate that. And we'll see. We'll see if these guys can hold up. And we'll see if they can go through the rest of the year. I don't know. We'll find out. Should be a lot of fun. Dottie, glad you showed up tonight. I appreciate that. Linda and Michelle and Cuz, thank you all for stopping by tonight. Kathy, thank you for stopping by tonight as well. And anyone else that happens to be in the revolving door, thank you all for stopping by tonight. We will see you tomorrow night. Fun show, and we'll learn a little bit more about State Question 814. God bless you. Have a great night.